Good evening, guys. So today we are going to discuss, our MEd paper, Educational Policy and Research, right, guys? So this is the class of the MEd fourth semester. In a MEd fourth semester, guys, already I have cleared in my last lectures. You have the, three papers, right? You have the three papers and one dissertation and one thesis, which you have prepared, right, guys? So thesis or dissertations, the viva, the date would come on that particular day. You have to go with your physical copy and you have to give the viva over there, right? So this is the, you can say that the first paper or 13th paper of MEd fourth semester. Okay, why it is called the 13th paper? Because 3 semesters you have covered, and in every semester you have the 4 paper. In a first semester you have the 4 paper, second semester 4 paper, third, fourth. That's why it is the 13th or first paper of MEd fourth semester, right? So there are 3 papers in this semester. Number 1, educational policy and research. Number 2, life skill education. Number 3, inclusive education. Inclusive educations we have covered, so this we are covering, right, guys? So educational policy and research. So I'm taking your class directly from the notes, guys. I have shared these notes with you, right, guys? This is the syllabus of educational policy and research. You can see that theoretical aspects, framework policy, right? And social impact assessment survey, and in the section B, educational planning, planning and finance, issue of research. Give me a second. Okay, guys. So guys, this is the important thing. This is your lengthy paper, right? This paper is the little bit lengthy paper and little bit, there are a more theoretical. Okay. Once you see your rest of the paper, inclusive education and life skill education, these are the easy paper, right? And these are not very lengthy. Okay. But this is the lengthy paper, paper 1. So I'll request to all of you, start learning this paper from today, because the topics are very lengthy, right? So I have given all 121 pages, 120 pages this file. I have made the notes, right? Even important questions. This notes is covering important question, last year paper, as well as syllabus also. Okay, guys. So under section B, you can see that I have bolded, right? I have bolded it. Educational planning, planning and finance, and issue of research, right, guys? And guys, this is the last year paper. You can see on the screen. Educational policy and research. Okay, you are aware of that 70 marks questions come, 70 marks paper come. In a section A, there are 4 paper, 4 questions. Out of a 4, you have to attempt 2 questions. Again, in the section B, out of a 4, you have to attempt 2. And in the section C, there are 10 questions, which is a compulsory, right? So you can see the questions. Section A, explain the impact of center and state relations on the educational policy formulation for the secondary education level. Right, guys? You can see that. Okay. And second is a CAB. This is called discuss the role of a CAB. This is the important. Everybody, you should know about this. Okay, today we will discuss that. This is called CAB, C-A-B-E. Always this question comes, related from the CAB. Central Advisory Board of Education. It is the apex body, okay, who gives the, directions to the central government regarding the education process. Okay, we will discuss today. Right? Third questions, guys, you can see that in your last year paper, the third questions came, impact of development of a social welfare scheme. Okay, what are the social welfare schemes? You know that, which is given by the government to the needy persons, right? India is a welfare state, right? So it is the responsibility of the Indian governments to provide the, things to the needy persons. Okay, social welfare scheme. Okay, and fourth is the vocationalizations of educations. What is the, vocationalization of educations, and critically analysis the vocationalizations of educations. So these 4 questions we will discuss today, and from the section B, we will discuss 8 questions. Okay, you can see that. Okay, explain the education as an engine of national development. Support your answer with suitable example. Okay, guys, and in a section C, we can also discuss some of the questions like difference between RAMSA and SSA, RMSA, SSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan or Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Okay, we can discuss commercialization of education. Okay, first questions we can discuss major problems, implementations of the education policy, right? And one or social determinants of education we can cover. So what we are doing because this is a lengthy paper, so half of the paper or half of the syllabus you can say that we are covering in today's lecture, and half we will cover in the next lecture. So today we are covering these 4 questions, right? And 4 questions from the short answers. Okay, guys. So notes I have already shared with you, and I am directly teaching you with from these notes. I have given these notes already to you, right? Solved question answer. Okay, guys. Okay, I start from the first question. Explain the impact of central and state relation on educational policy formulation for the secondary education level. So guys, what you have to do, you have to read the question once, twice, and thrice so that you can understand the questions. Okay, so for this paper, okay, these are the lengthy paper. You have to write each and everything related with the questions being asked, right? So here you have to talk about center. The main thing is that center state relations on education policy, right? So you can see that. So you have to talk about these all things, center state relations and their impact of education policy. Okay, you can see that I have made a heading from here, and before that you can talk about about the educational policy, right? Educational policy kya cheez hai? It consists of the principles and government policies in the education sphere as well as the collection of laws and rules. Okay, determined by the government, now made by the government, right? Educational policy, right? And the main question is you have to talk about center state relations and their impact on the education policy. So guys, these are the center state relations. You have to talk about the different policies related with the central and state government, right? Okay, so these are the little bit I already talked about discussed about these are the lengthy papers, theory papers. Okay, so you have to write lot of the theory work. Okay, so here you have to discuss all the responsibilities of the state, all the responsibilities of the government for implementing of the educational policy. Okay, so you can see from these answers, right, guys? So these are the lengthy ones, so that's why I'm not discussing. Okay, the important point I'm discussing with you. Okay, second I will discuss with you the important points. Second question is that discuss the role of CAB. Question has come now. Central Advisory Board of Education in policy making for education in India, right? So guys, CAB, you should know that this is the important. You can tick mark. Central Advisory Board of Education, it is the apex body, advisory body responsible for advising the central and state government in the field of education. So guys, what was our earlier questions? Earlier question was center state relations on the education policy, right? So it means, first question is the general question. Even in the first questions, you can also write about the CAB. Are you getting my point? Right? Because it is a general question. Okay, the first question, you have to talk about center state relationships on the educational policy. Okay, now you are doing our second question, second answer. So in your first answer, you can also talk about the CAB, because what is the role of a CAB? CAB is the apex body who gives the instruction, advice to the central and state government in the field of education. Okay, it was first established in 1920 but was dissolved later. It again came into existence in the year of 1935. It is the highest and the oldest advisory board for the government in education domain. Right? So guys, under these questions, what you have to do, discuss the role of a CAB. Okay, questions asked from you. You have to talk all the things, right? All the things, done by the CAB. You can see the points here. Role of the CAB in the policy makings for education. Okay, you have to make the different heading. Under the different heading, you have to talk. Even I have shared the notes with you, right, guys? Just you have to learn and you have to write over there if this question comes, and definitely this question would come, right? Because there is also options out of a 4. You have to, again, you have to attempt the 2. So this is the role of a CAB in the policy making for education. What is the role of a CAB? Topics on which CAB gives advice to government. Number 1, free and compulsory education. Okay, so government, it was instructed by the CAB. CAB gives advice to the government. If there is a provision of free and compulsory educations to all the children from the age of 6 to 14. Right, guys, under the SSA, because it is an act of a Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, na? It is a RTI Act also, right to Education Act, RTE Act, right to Education Act, according to 2010, right, according to right to Education Act, to give the free and compulsory education. And it is a also regarding the Article 45 under the Constitution's Article 45 says that free and compulsory education. So such things, these all the things related with the education, these kind of a advice given by the CAB to the central and state government to implement this policy. Right, guys? You can see that free and compulsory education, girls' educations for all the common schools, universalizations of a secondary education. Okay, we have already covered now universalizations of elementary educations, UEE. Universalizations of elementary education means to provide the primary educations, elementary educations to all the children from the 6 to 14 years of age. Okay, now the concept is universalization of a secondary education. Also provide the secondary education. And guys, here you have to note one thing. Universalizations of elementary educations and RT, Right to Education Acts, these all the policies, okay, here, and even the SSA, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, right? So these all the policies now what we are adopting, what the government is adopting just to reach on the universalizations of a elementary education means every children in this country has the right to get the primary education, and this is the responsibility of the government advised by the CAB. Okay, so here you have to note about the SSA. Right now, after the elementary education, there is also need to provide the secondary education. Right, this responsibility is given by the one you can say organization. This is called RAMSA, RMSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Right, you can see that any senior secondary schools in India, na, so this is the responsibility of the RAMSA. Okay, RAMSA, RMSA, he has taken the responsibility to provide the secondary schools, teachers for the secondary schools. You know that now, because only primary teacher cannot teach to the 6th, 7th class, 8th or 9th class. Only the B.Ed candidate can provide the 9th or 10th class. So here from the universalization of a secondary education, okay, you have to keep in your mind this is done by the RAMSA, RMSA. And universalizations of elementary education, this is by the SSA, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Right, now next, what are the topics on which CAB gives advice to government? Autonomy of the higher education institutions, ye dekhiye, okay, to provide the autonomy to the higher educations, integrations of a culture education in the school curriculum, regulatory mechanism, financial of higher and technical educations. Right, guys? So now, because now, this is the you are doing the MEd, and you are going to become a principal, right? So that's why such kind of a topic has come in your syllabus, because the role of a principal is not to take the classes. Okay, the role is principal is the administrator, right? He or she should have the knowledge of everything. Okay, different policies, what are the education, where the funds are coming, how the principal has to manage. Okay, so that's why these all the things are in this paper, educational policy of research, right guys? So ye dekho, as well as CAB has a following area of activity. These are the functions of a CAB. Okay, you have to learn, because question has come, define the role of a CAB, right? So these are to advise the central and state government, and to provide a platform where the central and state share their common concerns, review their experience, and envision future policies and programs related to education, right? So guys, means you have to keep in your mind, okay, at least 20 years back there were very less schools of secondary education schools. Okay, because everybody was 20 years back, everybody, government is giving, focusing on the primary educations. Okay, because since independence, there was a target to provide the at least primary education to the student. So once these things achieved by the government to some extent, then they started about the secondary educations, right guys? So these are the policies, these are the, you can say that, the advisory bodies, okay, behind the government. They are working for the educations to provide the education institutions in the India. Okay, how to manage the center and state relationships. Okay, these all things are managed by the CAB, right guys? So this question is the important, this you have to learn. Notes I have already shared with you. The third question is that, okay, what is the impact of development or social welfare scheme on the development of education and human health and well-being, right guys? So here we have to talk about social welfare schemes on the development of educations, right? So first of all, we should know about the social welfare schemes. Okay, how the social welfare schemes system work. So what is basically social welfare scheme? Social welfare scheme is, you can say that the, it is given by the government to the needy persons. Okay, so that means if the government is providing such kind of a thing to the citizen of India, so this is the responsibility of the government, right guys? Like you can see that point, medical care programs, right? Unemployment benefit programs, right? If if any of the person is unemployment after completing the 10th or 10+2, if he or she is not getting the any job, okay, he should get some incentives. Okay, you can see guys, in some countries, foreign countries, where there is a provision of a social welfare scheme. Even India is a welfare state. And now you would be surprised, in India nobody is getting the unemployment benefit. You are aware of that. Why it happened? Because of lack of the knowledge, right? That's why now education is the third eye of a man, right? So it is written, unemployment benefit programs. If any of the person is unemployment, India is a welfare state, right? So if any of the person is unemployment, he can get the benefit. Even this thing is happening, but very less people having the knowledge of that, right? Even after completing the 10th or +2, okay, he is not getting any job, he can take the different kind of a loans from the government, different kind of a subsidies from the government, right? So these all comes under the social welfare program, social welfare schemes. Because you being a principal, you should know that in your schools various kinds of a problems, various kinds of a queries come. So you should be aware of these all the things, right? That's why it is in your syllabus. Family allowance benefit, work injury compensation, public aid, right? So these all things that comes under the social welfare scheme. Up now, under this answers, you can write that, okay, this notes I have made for you and I've shared with you. India is a welfare state. Okay, what is the meaning of a welfare state? A welfare state is a concept of a government where the state plays a key role in the protection and promotion of economic and social well-being of its citizen. Right? So this is the responsibility of the government. It is based on the principle of equality of opportunity. equitable distribution of a wealth, public responsibility for those unable to avail themselves of the minimum provisions for a good life. The general term may cover a variety of forms of economic and social organization. So guys, do you think that since independence, after 75 years, okay, so we are getting this thing, okay, there is an equality of opportunity, exist or not, equitable distributions of a wealth, equitable. There is a difference between equality and equity, Hana? I have covered in the inclusive education class, right? So you are aware that what is the reasons behind it, okay, but you should know that your rights, okay. India is a why the welfare state, what is the concept of a welfare state? Under this question, social welfare schemes, you can write that, okay. Again, you can write that the welfare state provides education, housing, sustenance, healthcare, pension, unemployment insurance, sick leave, time off due to injury, supplemental income in some cases, and equal wages through price and wages control. It also provides for public transportation, childcare, social amenities such as a public park, libraries, as well as many other goods and services. Some of these items are paid for via government insurance program, while others are paid by taxes. Okay, so I'm discussing this topic with you. So I remember the governments. Some government you know about the AAP government, other government. Nah, they are doing in Delhi free educations and these all the things. Okay, they say that these are the social welfare programs. Okay, we are not distributing the to money to the persons. Okay, these comes under the social welfare programs. Okay, and due to this that government came in Delhi and as well as in Punjab also. Need and importance of a social welfare schemes. Okay, so you can write here about the social welfare schemes. What are the impact of a social welfare schemes? Okay, you can see that I have made a notes for that. What is the social development? Social development be under these questions, you can make the heading, because guys, I have already cleared you. This is the lengthy paper. Okay, so lengthy questions would come. Okay, the questions would come such kind critical analysis of this. So you have to mention all the things under these questions. So this is a lengthy paper. Start from today, right guys? Learning start learn this paper from today. So these all things you can write under the third answers. Okay, the fourth question is that what vocationalization of education? What do you mean by the vocationalization of education? Critically analysis vocationalization of a secondary education in India, right? And you are looking that now we are not talking about the elementary education. In this we are talking about the secondary educations, right? Because B.Ed or M.Ed is related with the secondary educations, right guys? Because after doing the B.Ed, you become the principal of the school. So that's why how you have to manage, okay, about secondary educations in your schools. What are the different policies by the governments, right? You should be aware of that. So this fourth question is the vocationalization of education. Vocational education is concerned with the training on vocation. It is related to productivity. Vocational education prepares individuals for jobs. It has adequate employment potentialities, helps in broadening of horizon, leads to dignity of labor. It is helpful in the maximum utilizations of a material resources of the country. When, this line is important, when vocational education is mixed with the general education, it is called the vocationalization of education. These are the very important notes. Okay, there is no separate books on these topics. Do you know that? Because these are the new topics in the M.Ed course. Okay, after every 1 or 2 years, new topics come. If you are in your inclusive education, you can see that this is also a new topic. You can't say that means that you will get a book that will cover the whole syllabus, even in the M.Ed course. So that's why I have made these notes for you. These are the very important. Okay, so according to the question being asked, I have made it. The main thing is that this is your part of a learning, right? So I have made this answer is a in a very effective way. Vocationalization of a analysis, critically analysis the vocationalization of a secondary education in India. It means first you have to talk about vocationalization of a educations, making the heading. Second, critical analysis of a vocationalization of a education of secondary education, where you can talk about what are the positive effect and negative effect, everything, but you have to critically analysis. Okay, you can see the heading. First of all, you have to talk about following are the aims and objectives of a vocationalization of a education according to the NPE. Anna, first you have to talk about what the NP 1986 is talking about vocationalization of education. What is the Kothari Commission 1964-66 is talking about the vocationalization of education. Right? Critically analysis, Anna, you are doing the critically analysis. So these are all the points. Okay, vocationalization education and training is presently being offered in the country primarily through the following categories of institutions. Right? Who is providing such kind of a courses? ITIs, polytechnics, okay, specialized institutions and schools like technical arts, craft schools, agriculture school, forestry, nursing, commercial training, vocationalization education at the +2 level within the school system. So guys, this is a very much important. Have you ever thought that after doing a 10th or +2, when the student leaves the school, what he gets? Basically, the purpose of education is to earn bread and butter. All right. So education system should be such type, it should be embedded with the vocation. Right, guys? When the student completes the 10th class or +2 class, at least he or she should have in his or her hand some vocation, some skill, so that he or she can earn bread and butter. Right? This is the reason. That's why, in our new policy, new education policy 2020, vocationalization courses has started from the 7th onwards. Right, guys? Coding and another vocationalization of a courses has started. So we are critically analyzing of these vocationalizations of educations, right? So these are center sponsored schemes on the vocationalization of educations you have to mention. Okay, what are the problems, what are the issue for the futures, and lastly you have to talk about the conclusions. Okay, so 4 questions we are done, okay, according to the last year paper. Right now the 5th question is that this question has also come in the last year paper. Today we are talking about the first paper, educational policy and research. Dekho, this is a very lengthy question, or definitely it will come again. Describe the influence of focus on expansion and excellence in education on educational planning for secondary stage in 5-year plans. All right. So guys, what you have to do in this question? That's why now I have told you, there are 3 papers in your syllabus. One is educational policy and research. Second, inclusive education. Third is life skill education. The rest 2 papers are easy. Life school education and inclusive education. The first paper, education policy of research, is a lengthy paper, guys. Unless you read 2 times, 3 times now, okay, then only you can come that, okay, what you have to write. Up under this questions now, you have to talk about 5-year plan. Basically, this question is talking about the 5-year, all the 5-year plan for the secondary stage in 5-year, right? Means since independence, when the 5-year plan started, what we are doing for the upliftment of the secondary education. Okay. So guys, yes, Sara ka Sara, you have to find first 5-year plan. Yeah, right? About the Niti Aayog, right? Okay, what was the earlier name of the Niti Aayog? Right? Planning Commission कहते थे Niti Aayog को. Right? Now, presently government hai, our Prime Minister Modi ji, replace the name of the, Niti Aayog. ये देखो, Transforming India Aayog established by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 1st January 2015. So you have to talk about 1st year plan, 2nd year plan, 3rd year plan, 4th year plan, and up to the 12-year plan for the upliftment of the secondary educations. ये देखिए last plan ये चल रहा है 2022 or 17. This is the 12th 5-year plan, right? You have to talk about for the upliftment and critically analysis and everything about the secondary educations. After that, guys, you can make the heading neglecting secondary education in budgetary allocation, because the focus was on the upliftment of the primary education. But it is now, you can say, up to many years, it is a failure of the government not to provide primary educations to all the children. It is the right of the every children. Free and compulsory education, okay, from the age of a 6 to 14 years of age, even written in the Article 45. Lot of the programs, Sarv Shiksha program, Right to Education Act, and many more programs, many policies, different from, you can say, since independence till up to 2015, you can say that they are talking about up to 2010 implementing of the primary implementing of the primary education, universalizations of elementary education. But what happened when up to the 2010, okay, government didn't get the success? Then, guys, what happened in the year of 2010? You are aware that government has made the law. What was the law? RTE Education Act 2010. Under this law, every person, okay, every children, they don't have to do the child labor. Okay, it is a right of the children to get the primary education, and if anybody is caught, then it is a punishable, right? So we have to talk about all the secondary education 5-year plan, and we are neglecting the secondary education plan, and I have discussed with you why we are neglecting. Okay, because secondary education student will only get now when he will clear the primary education, right? We were not achieving the primary education aim, so then it doesn't mean of the secondary education. So then, guys, under these questions you have to talk about how we are neglecting the secondary education. So, okay, guys, today we have covered our, this is a long paper, lengthy paper, 5 questions we have discussed, right? And, rest of the questions we will discuss in the next class, right? So this, notes I have shared with you, right? This one, 5 questions we have discussed. Till then, you can learn these 5 questions, okay? So this is the, our paper. Today we discuss education policy and research. Okay, this is the syllabus. You can see that the syllabus, first part we have covered planning and implementation sector with specific reference to education, right? Center and state relations and their impact, we have covered. Okay, and this we also covered central CAB, we talking about Central Advisory Board of Education, right? Okay, 1 or 2 questions we also covered in this, you can say that. Okay, this is the last year paper. Okay, educational policy and research. So according to the last year paper, sections A we have covered. First questions we are covered, second we are covered, third social welfare program we covered, fourth vocationalizations of covered, and fifth one is also covered, right? So guys, next class I'll take the next week. Okay, before the next weeks, to cover your these 5 questions, rest three questions, and rest of the syllabus we will cover in the next class. So after this, your 2 paper would be finished. First paper, inclusive education, already finished. Second paper, half of paper we have covered, and after that the third paper, life skill education, will remain. So we will cover in 1 lectures also, but the notes we have already sent you 4-5 months back, right guys? So thank you so much for this lectures. Thank you.